Hello, everyone. So we're going to go through an Imprint refresher. So this is for people that have kind of joined recently that might not have seen our symbol writer platform program before, or anyone that fancies a refresher. So yeah, we're going to go through just a couple of things. I'm just going to show you what you can do with Imprint in terms of adaptation for work, and then some of the color stuff that you can do in terms of boxes and a little bit of visual coding as well. So the first thing so when you open it up, it will come up with this page, and it's kind of set out a little bit like Word. So there's a piece, there's a bit there for the font, the symbol size, symbols, and then there's some other tabs across the top. So it's kind of trying to be a little bit more kind of Microsoft-y, if you like. So kind of, yeah, starting with the basics. So we're kind of going to go with the premise that we're going to do a lesson on animals. So I'm going to think about the higher ability pupils first. So what I always like to do is put the learning objective on the page just so the pupils can refer to it. So what I do, I go over to this box here, I choose a clear frame, and then you'll see here, so it comes up with a kind of a non-linear but a non-lined box, and then I'm going to say I am learning, get my spelling right, I am learning about animals. So we're just going to imagine they're going to write a little bit about animals. So we're going to say maybe their favorite animals will be the title. And then what I can do now is click on that box. I'm going to go not view. Click on that box. I'm going to go pages. Also frame. I'm going to center that, and I click on content fills frame, and it makes it much bigger. So whenever I then move that up and down, the content will always fill the frame. So I've got that. Also, I'm going to create another box here. When I create a box over here, sorry, I can choose symbols and text. I can choose text only. So if they don't need symbols, you can just choose text only, and then symbols only if they're not readers yet. But more often the default will be symbols and text to support with our kind of mid-readers. So I'm going to choose, so this is for kind of more higher ability learner. So I've got a title, I've got the learning objective, I've got the title, and then they're going to do some writing. So you've done your teaching, you've done lots of modeling, you've done a shared piece of writing about favorite animals. And then here, really simple, just put a couple of them in. I can also highlight that line. I just click on it, do Control and C, and then Control and V, like you would do any kind of copy and paste job. Control, there we go, Control and V. And then you get the idea with that. So that's just a bit of line paper with the title, very nice and colourful, and the learning objective on the work. And then, yeah, and then they can write on that, and you can put it into their folder or stick it in their books, however you see fit. So that's really, really a basic overview of what you can kind of do in terms of creating activities related to their learning. I'm going to delete all that. So I'll leave the learning objective up there. I'm just going to show you what I could do for a kind of a lower ability learner. So we're going to do matching animals. So I'm going to give some instructions as well, because I want them to be as independent as possible. I'm going to write on here, match the baby animal to their parent. And then I'm going to do cut and stick the pictures. Or my spelling. Cut and stick the pictures. Okay. So match the baby animal to their parent. That's fine. Now that cut is obviously not the right cut. That's not necessarily what I mean. So if you go over to symbol chooser in the right hand side of the page on the screen, you can see there's quite a few variations of the word cut. So it's obviously we're not talking about cuts on our hands or our legs. We're not talking about cutting wages or cutting food. We're talking about cutting paper. The stick's fine. And the pictures, here they've got the idea that we want to talk about the cinema. So Imprint works it will kind of give you some ideas, but it might not necessarily be the right one. So we're talking about actual like pictures that they're going to have to be able to cut and stick. So I've done that. So I've got the instructions, because the idea with this is that they're as independent as they possibly can be. And then I'm going to create a little simple matching activity. So I'm not going to write any words in here. Or you can do, so that I could have lamb or calf and maybe cub. But also I could, if I didn't want to have words there, I could write here over here in the symbol chooser, lamb. And I can pick it up and drag it in. But so if you want the words, you can have the words. If you just want the picture, you can have the picture. And then I need to create another page, because this is the bit where they're going to cut and stick. And then on here, I'm going to have the other picture of the cow. What was it? I can't remember now. A cow, a calf. No, a cow, a sheep, and a bear. So that's really simple activity that they cut and stick. They cut the parent animals out, and I have to match them to the baby animals. So really, really simple activity. And then with these, if I go to cells on this very, very top panel, I can muck about with the line thickness, potentially with that one. Or if I want to do all of them, click on the outside, and I can make them all as thick. I can change the line color if I wanted to. Can change the background if I wanted to as well, just to kind of highlight things. So yes, and then you can kind of content shrinks in the frame, content fills the frame, and then formatting. If I want, I can highlight all that because I want the writing to be bigger. I can make the writing bigger and smaller, much like you can do in Word, and I can make the symbols bigger and I can make the symbols smaller. Also, if I go in here, I can muck about with the colors of the actual sheep if I really wanted to. If it's a person, if I write in here, so let's write child or baby. So baby, see that baby there. Now, depending on the child doing the piece of work, it might be more meaningful to have their actual own skin color on there. So you can change the skin color. Obviously, we want to have, you know, good representation and be diverse and make sure that we're showing the children as they are. So you can muck about with skin tones there as well. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can do. Lastly, over in the image library, you have widget media. So if you're learning about time, for instance, you can click on number, and it has lots of different clocks. Or it might have something to do with fractions, so halves. So there's lots of interesting pictures there to support with telling the time geography. So you've got lots of different pictures of coastal pictures, glacier photos for the you know, if you're doing anything around geography wise. And then there's stuff on books like Cinderella that will give you some images if you're learning about the story of Cinderella. And then there's seasonal stuff on there as well. So yeah, so that's kind of an overview. If I go file, here there's templates. Now the templates show you lots of different ideas that have already been pre-populated. So you can click on number and it will give you some counting templates. Or you could click on timetables if you're trying to make a timetable for pupils, and it'll give you lots of different versions of timetables. And then there's the resources packs as well. This is kind of about like kind of celebrations through the year. So there's stuff on Diwali that are really useful. So loads of different kind of curricular stuff on there, which is really, really useful. So summer weather, summer pack, so as we're into summer at the moment. So lots and lots and lots of ideas that you can use to support your teaching. So yeah, so that's kind of it. I hope that is helpful. And yeah, take care.